Let me call the hearing to order and welcome our witness this morning. Dr. Orzaga, as always, we are glad to have you and thank you for coming. Today you're here to lay out your latest forecast or outlook on the budget and economy released just this morning. We're pleased to have your perspective on recent developments in the economy and how these changes have affected the federal budget and are likely to affect it further. Given current discussions about economic stimulus proposals and your release on that subject last week, I expect that our members will have questions about the various roles that fiscal policy can play in firing up our faltering economy. Your budget and economic outlook offers some sobering projections on the short-term and long-term fronts. For the short term, CBO's economic forecast has grown noticeably more pessimistic since last August, and a number of ominous economic signs have emerged since CBO finalized last month the forecast underlying today's report. Unemployment has spiked in 1 month from 4.7 to 5%. December retail sales, all important, actually fell by 0.4 of a percentage point from the prior month. And yesterday, the Fed felt compelled to make an uncommon, if not unprecedented, cut of 75 basis points in the Fed funds rate. Today's new economic forecast adds to the growing evidence that the economy has weakened and that we as policymakers must and should take action. Meanwhile, CBO shows the deficit for fiscal 2008 is larger than the deficit for fiscal 2007, and the 2008 deficit is actually $64 billion worse in this projection than in the projection you made last August. Over the long term, CBO's 10-year forecast is worsened relative to August by $850 billion on an apples-to-apples basis. Because yours is a baseline forecast, it does not include the full deficit impact of all the administration's policies in the budget that they will send us in a few weeks. For example, your forecast does not include the roughly $4 trillion impact on revenues, which would be occasioned by the President's tax cut agenda of the full cost of ongoing operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. Under administration policies, the $5.6 trillion surplus projected in 2001 has collapsed, vanished, and been replaced by deficits which are nearly equal in amount and which complicate our efforts, our response to the current slowdown in the economy. Today's report provides the latest evidence that we should act and act now to strengthen the economy, and that we should do so in a way that is mindful, however, of the long-term budget challenges, the structural deficits that we face unless we act and act seriously. This report reminds us also that the President's budget policies, particularly his deficit finance tax cuts, would significantly increase the national debt and make it harder to address our long-term challenges.